thank you so much for joining me here. And if I share my screen for you. Now, what I suggest that you do is that you also open up your screen so you're seeing me side to side. So not only seeing the presentation, but also seeing me. So if you make me a little bit bigger than a tiny bit in the corner, then your viewing will look so much better and it will be a lot more engaging for you. So that is brilliant if you could do that. Okay, so how many salespeople would you hire if you knew in advance that they would all succeed? All of them. So why aren't you doing that? Knowing in advance who would succeed, really, that's the problem. My job is to challenge my clients to do better, and I'm going to challenge you here today. In sales, our customers make decisions based on emotions and justify them with logic. But this works against us in the recruitment arena and in the working arena. There's many biases that creep in that cause us to make decisions that are really not beneficial, but also prevent us from having the most effective sales teams. Now, did you know that approximately there's 20 biases that affect the recruitment and the career process? 20 biases, that's an awful lot. So what we need to do is we need to understand in this short session about how to secure rich sales talent with the right sales competencies for success. Now, I work with sales leaders, founders, CEO, and talent acquirers to help them make the best decisions for their revenue generating business. Now, research shows that 46% of new sales hires fail within the first 18 months. Now, this isn't a staggering figure. It's enormous and it's a very costly one too. Now, either they don't fit in the team, the culture, they give up on you, or you give up on them. Either way, they don't reach the levels expected by the business. Now, how many other functions would accept this level of failure or hiring errors? Not that many functions, but sales have accepted this for a long time. Now, depending on what research you look at, either Salesforce, Gartner's, Forrester, for the last 30 years, we've achieved less than 50% of quota. That's on average for any team. Now, doing what we've always done is madness if you expect a different result. Now, I'll be looking at how we can put more of the science into the art of sales in this 3-part series. So next week and the week after, same time, same place, but we're starting on time and it is running smoothly on LinkedIn Live. So thank you for the Facebook fans that are here. This underperformance of salespeople is not just an inconvenience for the business. It's also a very expensive hiring mistake. After all, salespeople would not be salespeople if they didn't know how to sell themselves. So how do you separate the fact from the fiction? Because the cost of hiring in time, money, and energy is estimated to be a minimum of 100,000 and can go into the millions if you look at the opportunity costs as well. Now, we live in unprecedented times when it comes to sales data and when it comes to the research. So for the first time, we have tools to understand what works and what doesn't work. So what's going wrong here? Now, I'd like you to consider what assessment tools you used in your last sales hire. It's been proven from meta-analysis that research spanning 85 years is that selecting candidates needs to be predictive effective. It has to have predictive effectiveness. And most frequently, the methods that we're using are absolutely disastrous. Now, if we look at CVs, we're all used to CVs for hiring. The predictive effectiveness is only 18%. For traditional interviews, our gut feeling, they seem right, they'll fit, only 20%. For personality tests, 20%. For referrals, companies giving thousands of pounds for you to refer people like yourself, thinking they'll be a best fit, only 23%. Now, personality tests are beneficial on many levels, but as many self-proclaim, it's not recommended for recruitment and particularly sales. Now, these tests are imp-sative and not normative data. And in short, they're intra-candidate data, particularly for individual candidates and not between candidates. For example, they're not comparative. If you have an extrovert, a direct, or a decisive person, that person is not necessarily a good seller, unless you can correlate what they do as a component of the sales success for a significant group of people. It's comparative. Predictive validity correlates the findings to on-the-job performance. It's not enough to identify potentially good salespeople. Potential is not on-the-job success. You must identify the right salesperson for the right roles. You want to know, will this person do well in this role? To put the right person in the right seat, it's all about getting the sales selection right. Now, we play into many, many myths in sales. See, looking at one here. We must be gregarious and curious. Maybe curious, but gregarious. Is that the key component of a successful person? I think we've dealt with that. Another myth is that high performers make good managers. Now, the data shows that only 39 to 54% of successful salespeople achieve over 125% of quota, have the behavioral characteristics to be high-performing sales leaders. Now, that's less than a 50-50 chance. Now, I must be the unluckiest person in this room. I've had my fair share of poor, verging on psychotic sales managers. Now, I'm still traumatized going back to the 1990s, but I still hear many poor management strategies, management strategies today. I get so many salespeople that confide in me their experience, and also a number of executives that tell me that they've recruited an A-player salesperson or sales leader and realize many expensive months down the line that that A-player is actually delivering C-level results. So next week, live, I'm going to be talking more about training and development of sellers. So make sure you join me there. So focusing on the recruitment here, I really want you to imagine forcing someone to succeed. It's not going to work really, is it? Now, many children have just got their exam results. Now, you might have experienced yourself or know of a parent who has spent enormous amount of energy coercing their children to study. Now, it's really exasperating. Now, think of a sales manager willing a salesperson to sell. It's near on impossible and probably not worth the effort when the sales manager could be using their time more efficiently with other methods. So our analysis shows that the sales competency is harder to improve through training. These competencies are critical to the seller's success and measures the salesperson's will to sell, such as desire, outlook, commitment. The drive to be successful in sales is intrinsic. So no amount of coercion, training, or on-the-job practice can instill that drive if the salesperson's resistant to being successful, because there's many hidden beliefs that may feed that resistance. Now, unless you're a clinical psychologist, hiring the right person who already has the desire, the outlook, the commitment, the will to succeed, it's critical to hire that. We think interviews or gut feeling tells us this, but the evidence says this is not so. You must be able to measure what you cannot teach. You must use a structured, skills-based assessment that measures the candidate's drive and belief, these elements that really underpin success. The tactical selling abilities, which is their will to sell. Now, the starting point of any sales hire is the data-informed assessment questionnaire. You need to take the bias out of sales hire, the ability to benchmark for what we know or what we know good looks like. This data has been collected over 30 years of assessing sales professionals. Why wouldn't you take the guesswork out of sales hire with predictive validity, proven accuracy, and a track record of over 2.3 million salespeople evaluated from across 158 industries and 200 countries? Do you think your gut feeling knows what good looks like and can beat these stats? I don't think so. So it's time to eliminate the bias, and instead of relying on assumptions and subjective evaluations, consider leveraging data-informed, sales-specific assessments for sales hiring. Now, imagine a scenario where 91% of sales candidates recommended by the assessment achieve top quartile on-the-job performance within 12 months. By implementing a scientific and predictive approach, you can ensure you're hiring the right salespeople, managers, and leaders to execute your business plans. Now, knowing that 75% of clients not recommended are historically either not retained, expensive, or perform badly, expensive. So this saves you valuable time, resources, and money. You must stop using outdated methods and poor judgment with little or no sales predictive validity. Instead, using sales-specific data in hiring and development has proven to generate over 91% of higher recurring revenues. Now, imagine the impact on your revenues when your sales team is aligned, equipped with the right skills, and empowered to achieve their fullest potential, because you know what that is. You know what it looks like. Now, I have a theory here, and I'd really like you to help me test it. We know that this assessment can find what good looks like for your industry specifics. What if you put the most unlikely person up against the assessment? Yeah. Take the blinkers off. My point is that if we take the guesswork out of hiring, when you're guaranteed to find the best, or more accurately, the recommended candidate, that they can then progress to an interview or whatever the next stage is in your recruitment process. Now, I would encourage you to take the blinkers off, lay down the bias, and make your pool the widest it has ever been. And let the assessment find the seller's cream from the below average crop. Now, if you want to get smarter in your sales hire, if you want to save time and energy, if you want to avoid the costly mistakes, if you are serious about broadening the recruitment pool beyond the Russell groups and reflect the diversity of your buyers, then let's set up a time to talk about your specific needs and your desires. So next week, I will discuss more about how to unleash your sales team's potential using data-informed analysis. If you'd like to schedule a consultation about how the data can help you either hire in or maximize the potential of your existing team, then let's have a conversation. Schedule a consultation in my Calendly link or DM me, Janice B Gordon. Now, if you've registered on Eventbrite, you'll receive an email tomorrow of all of the information that I've talked about and the ability to contact me. You'll get a recording of this that will be posted on my YouTube tomorrow. I'm also doing a LinkedIn article summarizing all of these key points, so you'll get access to all of that. Either go direct or wait for the email to come through. That's if you registered on Eventbrite, we have your email address. If not, then please do check my channel tomorrow or DM me with your details and we'll send it through to you. But make sure you put in your diary next week, the 12th, 4 o'clock, we'll start on time, I promise you, for the next session about unleashing your sales team potential. We're only 3 minutes over, although we started a little late. I do appreciate you coming. Please do post any questions you have in the comments. Wherever you are, post them. We will find them and we will answer all of your questions. DM me any points you have or wait for the article tomorrow. Comment, give me your feedback. I'll answer all of your questions there. So see you next week. Thank you so much for attending and waiting. I apologize for being late. Technology, hey. Thank you very much. See you next week.